You're welcome back to my channel, Sumates. Today's tutorial is on drafting a perfect corset pattern, okay? If you're a beginner struggling with corset, this is for you. Or you're also an intermediate who is finding corset challenging, okay? This is for you because I actually took my time to explain this in detail because I have the beginners in mind, but it's also for everybody, okay? As long as you want to learn how to make corset, this is for you. So let's get right into the table. So I have my paper here, okay? And it's representing our front half length. That is from the shoulder to your waist, okay? So I also added allowance, so you can see I labeled the shoulder, chest, bust point, under bust, waist, and the allowance, okay? So, and I went on to row the lines having the label, okay? So I want you to stay tuned to the end of this tutorial because I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to be learning two important things, okay? Two basic knowledge are here, okay? That is how to draft a basic bodice for somebody that is very new to tailoring and sewing, and also how to alter that basic bodice to get your corset um pattern, okay? So I went on to divide my shoulder by 2. I measured it on the shoulder line and also on the chest line and roll it into a straight line. Next, I slope my shoulder by 1 inch and get my neck width of 3 inches. So I'll connect to my shoulder slope this way, okay? So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to, at this point, I want to tape my paper down because the paper is a kind of moving and I don't want that, okay? So I am going to measure what I have on this line. I'm going to divide into 2 and get the midpoint, mark on the midpoint. Then I'm going to divide my bust circumference by 4 and mark, that is your round bust divided by 4, okay? And on the armhole line, I came in by 0.5 inches and I'm going to pick up my curve ruler and I'm going to connect all the dots, and that is going to form our front armhole, okay? So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to get our waist dart, okay? So when you divide your nipple to nipple by 2, whatever I give is what you're going to be marking here. So I'll mark it from the allowance to the bust point area, okay? So after that, I'm going to get my ruler and connect into a straight line. So now on the other bust of the center front, okay, on the other bust, I measure half an inch. I'm just going to measure that half an inch down. Then on this side, on the same other bust of the side, I'm going to measure 1.5, that is 0.75, and I'm going to mark that 1.75, sorry, 1.5 is 1.75. I'm going to mark it down and connect all the lines. Do you see? So I'm going to pick up this curved ruler and I'm going to connect from the bust point to the other bust in a curved way like this for the side, and pick up my straight ruler to connect the center front. Can you see it? Okay, so here our waist dart is formed. So our bustier waist dart anyway is for bustier. So I'm going to get my neck depth of 3 inches. This is a standard neck measurement, 3 by 3 inches for a normal size, okay? So I will divide what I have on this shoulder line into 2, okay? And I'm going to get the midpoint. So when I get the midpoint, I will mark on the midpoint. Then I'm going to pick up my straight ruler. I'm going to connect from this shoulder line point to the bust point, okay? So I was done connecting, and the next thing I'm going to do is to determine where I want my corset cup to be, okay? So I'm going to go up above my chest line by 1 inch, okay? This is to ensure that my corset cup covers my bust area very well. So if you don't want yours to cover it very well, you can leave it on the chest line area, okay? Some people prefer that. So on the new line and mark, I'm going to come in and out by 0.5 inches. I do that on the shoulder line as well. So I'll pick up my ruler and I'm going to be connecting the lines, okay? So we're trying to achieve our shoulder dart, yes, here, Okay, remember I told us we are going to get a perfect basic bodice, then alter it to get our perfect corset pattern. So you see the way I'm connecting it. Okay, that is what you do as well. So I proceeded to connect, and I'm trying to blend this part. Okay, so here the next thing I'm going to do is to get my side dart. So this side dart is the difference between your back waistline and the front waistline. Okay, so mine is 1 inch, and I proceeded to mark it down 1 inch below the bust point line. I'm going to be connecting to the bust point this way. Okay, so here I want to a kind of replace this dart I have on the shoulder line. So I will connect my shoulder slope this way and replace the 1 inch we have here, so that when we close the shoulder line there won't be shortage, and I'll connect it to the chest line area of the armhole. Okay, so can you see what we have? Okay, so with this, when we close our shoulder dart, we will not have any shortage. So I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4, my under bust circumference divided by 4 as well, replace my dart, and my waist circumference divided by 4. I'll also replace my dart, then pick up my ruler and connect the lines. So I noticed that I need to reconnect here also. So I have 0.5 inches to replace on this side, this chest line area. So I went to measure it and replace it accordingly. Can you see? So that is just what I'm trying to do, so that we don't have shortage when we are done drafting our pattern. Okay, so at this point I'm going to close my dart. I'll close shoulder darts, side darts, and I'm going to achieve that by slitting through the waist dart. Okay, so I'm closing these two darts. Okay, and I'm going to slit through the center line of the waist dart. So I've done that, and you can see I use my masking tape to close them. Can you see here? So it's no big deal, you just slit through one line and close. Okay, that is what I did, and that is possible when you slit through the waistline. Okay, or if you have any other way that suits you more, you can use it to close it. All that matters is that it is well closed. Okay, so on this line here, right now is going to we're going to start drafting our corset cup. So I'll get my bust bridge by going up 1 inch above the bust line area. Okay, so you can as well decide to come down, especially if you want some cleavage revealing. Okay, you can decide to come down. Okay, so I'll go in by 0.5 inches this way. Okay, exactly on that bust bridge line. So if you don't want your cleavage to reveal, you can maintain the 1 inch above the bust point. You can even use your bust point line as well. Okay, so I went on to connect to my under bust, and we have our first cup, which is the center part. So on this point I came in by 1.5 inches and also came down by 0.5 inches. Do you get? From the bust circumference divided by 4 line, I came in by 1.5 inches. Then from the chest line, I came down by 0.5 inches. And on that line, I'm going to connect with my curve ruler to the under bust line to form our side front cup. So if you look at the side front cup, you find out that it's bigger than the center front. That is because when we put on a bra, you find out that the part of our the greater percent of our breast, okay, the highest part goes to the side instead of the center. So that is reason why the side cup is bigger. So on the 1 inch above the chest line, I proceeded to connect also with a curve ruler this way to the bust bridge, and again I proceed to connect to the 1.5 inches below the chest line. Can you see? So you can see the beautiful shape our corset is already taking. So I'll blend this part properly. Okay, so can you see what we have here? And it's looking very fine already. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to be doing is to is to reconnect the line around this bust point and chest line. Okay, that is our side dart. Okay, so I reconnected it, and the next thing that I'm going to be doing is to cut out. So if you have watched up to this point and you have not subscribed, my dear, you are going to be missing a lot. Oh, you are missing a lot, because if you subscribe, you're going to be getting notified immediately I drop important and very educative tutorials like this, and you don't want to miss it. So go ahead and subscribe, like, and drop a comment for me. So I proceeded to label it. This is very important, and also I'm going to notch this bust point area where we're going to be joining the two cups together. It is very important. You see this labeling and notching? I love doing that because with that I don't find it stressful joining my cup. It's very easy. So I'm going to set the cups aside, and I don't want to use this round neck for my neckline, so I'm going to restyle the neck of my yoke. So I want to use a V neckline for my yoke. So I came down by 5 inches, and I'm just going to connect this 5 inches to my 3 inches neckline, the neck width. So you see the way I connected it in a V shape. It is so that I can have a V shape there on my yoke. So if there is any other neck shape you want to have, go ahead and restyle it on your yoke, and you will have it. Okay, so I'll set it aside, and here is our paper for the back. So I went on to mark my lines. Okay, so I'm trying to make them very visible with my black colored marker. Okay, so I have shoulder line, chest line, bust point, waist, and allowance. So without wasting time, I proceeded to slope my shoulder by 1 inch, get my neck the width of 3 inches, and connect my shoulder slope. So I have 1.5 inches here for zipper allowance, as you can see as I label it. So I'm using 2 inches for my neck depth. Depth, yes, and that is what I measured here, connected to the zipper area and also to my neckline. So I divide what I have on my shoulder line by 2, get my bust circumference divided by 4, mark it. Then I'll pick up my curve ruler, and I'm going to connect to form our back armhole. So after that, I'll proceed to get our dart. So on the waist part, I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4 up to the chest line area, and I'm going to pick up my ruler and connect the line into a straight line. Okay, so I'm going to connect it down to the allowance line. Okay, so after doing that, on both line of this new line, I'm going to come in and out by 0.5 inches, and I'll mark. Okay, so if you're snatching your corset back, or you're adding boning, visible bonings, you're lacing, please, you don't need the dart. Okay, but because I want the back of my corset to be basic body's back, that is why I'm doing this. So if that is what you want as well, then okay, let's proceed. So my bust point divided by 4 is what I measured and mark here, and also my waist circumference divided by 4, and I mark and replace my darts on the allowance line also. So if you notice on this back part, you see that there's no under bust line. That is because there is no bust at the back. So I marked and replaced my dart accordingly. Okay, so one more tip for our beginners: this paper for the back is 2 inches is 1 inch smaller than the front, meaning that if your front waist is 16, your back is going to be 15 or 14.5, depending on the difference between your back and your front. Okay, so I came down by 2 inches from the neckline. Okay, that's it, because I want to restyle my neckline, and also measure 2.5 inches here on the chest line. So I'm going to pick up my curve ruler, place it this way, and I'm just going to try to get the kind of shape I want for this back. Okay, so that is what I'm doing. You can see me trying different shapes on my ruler. So I'm okay with this one. I proceeded to connect. So this 2.5 inches I measured is on fold. So when I open it up after sewing, I'm going to have 5 inches wide here. So here I'm going to measure 0.5 inches. So this is applicable if you are going to be adding lacing to your back, okay? If you are going to lace your back, please do this, okay? Remove this 0.5 inches in between, cut it out. And it's not just when you are adding your boning, it's also when you are separating your yoke from your main back bodies, okay? If you are separating your yoke from your main back bodies, it's good to do that so that to avoid gaping. But if you are not, don't worry yourself. So I added my allowance on my paper, okay? So I'm just going to shade this part because I'm not separating my main bodies from my yoke. Take note of that, okay? I'm not separating my main bodies from my yoke. I'm going to use it complete like this, okay, as a regular basic bodies for the back, okay? So you do yours when you're separating it. Thank you. So over to my zippers area, I am going to avoid zipper bulge by going in by 0.75 and I'll reconnect, okay? So thank you so much for watching. I want you to stay tuned because I'm going to be dropping the sewing tutorial. It is very interesting, okay? And trust me, if you watch this one to the end and the sewing tutorial to the end, you will learn how to make corsets. See you then. Bye.